Hi boys and girls, Mrs. Sadowski here, and I'm going to introduce Benchmark Unit 5 to you. Hopefully this lesson will help, and then each day I'll do a new lesson that goes along with what we're learning. So here we go. On your screen, when you open your online reader, you'll notice that Unit 5 is Technology for a Green Future. And I'd like to take a moment to talk about this. When you read the unit title, do you wonder what a green future is? The name may make you think about the color green, and that's kind of what you should be thinking about. Green is the color of grass, leaves, and many parts of nature. We know that green plants get their energy from the sun. Humans have been searching for ways to imitate this very efficient way of making energy. Green technology uses resources such as sun, wind, or water to make environmentally minded energy that will not pollute Earth or use up the planet's resources. So as you go through this, you're going to be reading about a lot of different sources of green technology, ways of using our natural resources and looking for things that can be renewable, meaning to be made again. Inside your reader, you will have your table of contents. You will also have some reminders for how you could go about annotating the text. Remember, feel free to use the tools over to the side by clicking on the little toolbar. You have a pen and a highlighter, and you can select colors for them as well. So don't forget about those tools. You have an eraser. Okay, they are there for you. If you turn the page again, you will see the launch to this week's lesson, or this week's readings. And it says, how do we make decisions about developing new technology? And you can see here we've got a picture of some solar panels, bringing in the sun's rays and then turning that into electricity. You can also see that people are getting on a bus here in a large city, and it's a hybrid, elective, alternative fuel powered bus. And then here you can see a clean power electric vehicle charging station. You've probably seen some of these things in real life, or at least on shows and things like that. And all of the reading in this unit deal with these kinds of technology. So our reading that we're going to start with this week is from the Hopeville Ledger, and it says Town Tackles Energy Debate. And it says that it's the morning edition. I'm going to kind of zoom in right here. See where it says morning edition. And you can see that there is the author's name is right there. I'm also going to point out that we have a picture of some real people. There's a caption underneath. It says the Hopeville town meeting drew a crowd of concerned citizens. You can also see a picture up here. It says some power plants use solar panels to convert light to energy. When I turn the page, you can see that there is more to this article. And the article is not what's on the left. It's just what's on the right-hand side, because you'll see we have a new title up here. What I want you to note is that we have a pie chart down here, and the title of the pie chart says U.S. Electricity Net Generation by Fuel, and it says Eve Pierce displayed this pie chart showing the percentage of fossil fuels used to power electricity in the United States in 2012. Now, you hopefully have heard this term, fossil fuels, before. It's going to be a key term throughout the reading. Fossil fuels are any of the fuels that would have been made by the fossils. So we're looking at things that would take millions and millions of years to make, things like oil and coal. And so if I go to my little zoom tool, because I think it's kind of tiny on the screen here. So if I scroll and I want to look at this pie chart, we can see natural gas, 26%, renewable energy is 12%, nuclear energy 19%, and coal. Coal is a fossil fuel at 42% of our energy in the US was coming from fossil fuels. So The first day that you are reading, this is today, Monday, when you go through this, you're going to read these first 3 pages. And as you read, I want you to be thinking, what kind of text is this? If you look at it, you might say, it reminds me of a newspaper. And that's exactly correct. The Hopeville Ledger is a little newspaper, and they're showing you what a newspaper article might actually look like. In here, you're going to notice that there will be quotes from people who attended this meeting. There will be some information. They're going to tell you when it happened and where it happened, because a good news article would cover those kinds of skills. It would have interviews and quotes. It would have a headline and a byline. Headline right there, okay? You'll have your photos, your illustrations, your charts, your graphs, and facts about the who, what, when, where, and how are all included in this newspaper article. When you're going through this article, you are going to be noticing that they're debating something. And that's going to be the topic of today's lesson and the task that you're going to have to do in Benchmark. So when you are in Benchmark, your Benchmark page will look like this in Google Classroom. And actually, I'm going to scroll up. There are some directions first that you'll notice. And it's just reminding you that you're going to complete the page on the computer by typing your answers into the text boxes. And anytime you see little red circles, you can move those circles. So here's what the page looks like. No, there isn't a text box for your name. That's okay. It's in Google Classroom. We'll know it's you. But it asks, what issue is being debated? And by debated, we mean, what are the people arguing about? What is it that they want to get done? And so you'll just click in this type here. You can get rid of that by highlighting it with your mouse. And then go ahead and just start typing. What is it they're debating? The issue being debated is, what is it? Then, why is the town debating this? Again, it's a newspaper article. It is going to tell you the what, and it is going to tell you the why. Why are they debating whatever it is they're debating? Again, you're going to be, oops, I don't want to move the text box. You're going to be clicking and go ahead and type right here. Then it says explain both sides of the debate, meaning one group says this, another group says blah, 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 okay? You want to think about what are the two arguments happening. And then in the final box that you have, it says summary of the text. And notice, it's not a large text box. So we're going to be asking you to type just a couple of sentences telling us what was this newspaper article about. Okay, focus on the main idea, the key details. But it needs to fit in this box, so it's going to be short. At the bottom, they ask you for one sentence. Which sentence best summarizes the news article? And you have this nice little dot. The little red dot can be moved. So you just click on that, drag it over, and you decide if you want A, B, C, or D. Okay? So it's pretty straightforward. It's basically summarizing, looking at what in the world was this article about. So to make sure we understand the article, you're going to be coming across words that are very specific to this newspaper article. And some of them are kind of scientific in nature. So I do want to make sure that I kind of talk to you about some of these words before you go reading on your own. Now, a town hall meeting, that would be like a meeting at like City Hall. Most of you, if you were here at our school last year or in our school district, you would have taken a field trip to City Hall. So that should be pretty good. They're talking about a power plant. Pretty sure you all know that a power plant is something where it's not a green plant growing in the yard, but it's actually a factory that makes power or electricity, right? Going through, federal government's going to give some money. Looking to see if there's anything else. Let's see, natural gas versus solar power. Solar meaning energy from the sun, right? Natural gas is going to be gas that you find in nature. Let's see, what else might be in here? Oh, in paragraph 3, they are talking about greenhouse gases. And perhaps in my tools, I should grab a highlighter for this. Right here, greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases are all the pollution that's given off by things like cars and buses and big factories that burn oil and coal. So that's going to be something that's going to come up a lot as you're reading through this. And you'll want to make sure you understand what they're talking about when they say greenhouse gases. There's that fossil fuels being mentioned again, in paragraphs 4 and 5. Fossil fuels. Remember, these are like oil and coal and things like that that take millions and millions of years to make. Let's see if I can get my little pointer back here. Any other words that I think would be worth pointing out to you? I'm just kind of skimming over. Fossil fuel comes up again. Over here. They talk about greenhouse gas emissions. Now, when they say greenhouse, they're not talking about the building that we're, growing plants in. They're talking about the greenhouse effect, where we have our ozone layer and the way the earth has our air and our atmosphere, and how when too much pollution is put into the atmosphere, it starts heating up our planet's temperature. And when we start heating up the earth, we talk about global warming and things like that. So when they talk about the greenhouse effect or the greenhouse gases, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about all that pollution, all that extra carbon dioxide that heats up our planet. So hopefully I've given you a good enough introduction into this. Remember, when you go to read, that you can just click play if you would like to hear the whole story read to you, or you can read it on your own. You have these options of, marking up the text if need be. And good luck on the worksheet that follows. I'll talk to you tomorrow.